Welcome to AI or Die Week 33. This week, free weights, paid inference, locked cyberpower, and the receipts behind AI content. Let us begin. AI promised total transparency. The Sun replied, "Here is my blackout with an exact time and an exact path." When a ball of burning gas publishes clearer documentation than the AI industry, perhaps the problem is not the lighting. Top Story 1 reveals the coming AI money machine. On the 10th of August, Meta released Muse Glimmer, a 30 billion parameter open-weight agentic model under Apache 2.0. With 4-bit compression, it can fit below 20 gigabytes, so local use on a capable workstation is real. But Glimmer was distilled from the stronger Muse Spark. Spark remains proprietary and is sold through Meta's own model API, starting at $1.25 per million input tokens and $4.25 per million output tokens. This is not a contradiction. It is a commercial funnel. Open weights acquire developers. They reduce the cost of trying the model, spread the ecosystem, and encourage companies to build around it. Meta learned from Llama that popularity alone does not guarantee serving revenue. Third-party clouds could host the model and charge customers for inference. Muse puts Meta's own meter beside the open entrance. Paid inference turns usage into recurring revenue. Kimi, DeepSeek, and Qwen use variations of the same route. Publish weights to win adoption, then charge for convenient APIs, enterprise services, customization, or managed cloud access. The weights may be free, but reliable production operation is not. Infrastructure captures the margin. Meta is building inference-first chips and now expects 2026 capital expenditure of $130 to $145 billion. Lowering the cost of every generated token allows the infrastructure owner to retain more of the price charged to customers. Open weights still provide genuine access and scientific value. But they can also be the free tier of a much larger business. For every so-called open model, ask 3 questions. Who owns the weights, who owns the inference meter, and who owns the data center behind it? Top Story 2 needs one clarification first. Daybreak Blue and Daybreak Red are new OpenAI cyber offerings, not 2 new general-purpose ChatGPT models. Blue gives approved security defenders access to GPT 5.6 Sol with safeguards designed for defensive work. Red gives a much smaller group of authorized researchers access to GPT 5.6 Cyber, a specialized model for advanced vulnerability research. Think of Blue as better tools for the security team protecting the building. Red is the stronger testing laboratory used to discover how the building could be broken. OpenAI says Red helped researchers find and combine 2 previously unknown flaws in Google's V8 software engine. Google fixed the first. OpenAI also reports a 95% result on its own cyber evaluation, but that remains a vendor test, not an independent verdict. The model is classified high capability, not critical. Identity checks, monitoring, restrictions, and legal commitments are therefore part of the product. Oz now offers the 2 tiers to eligible Bedrock customers in Northern Virginia. The controlled access question became more urgent on the 14th of August when ZAI announced GLM 5.3 and said its public release would follow approximately 2 weeks of safety review. ZAI claims strong defensive testing, but materially weaker exploit development performance than Anthropic's comparison model. Those are vendor results, not an independent verdict. GLM 5.3 is announced, not yet publicly released. The business lesson is simple. For high-risk AI, the customer, the purpose, and the controlled environment can matter as much as the model itself. Top Story 3 asks a practical question. Can an AI label be removed? Yes. Take one generated image or document. The first layer is a visible disclosure saying it was made with AI. A person can crop it out or delete it. The second is an imperceptible marker, such as a machine-detectable pattern in generated text. Rewriting, translation, or heavy editing may damage it. The third is signed C2PA metadata, a digital passport recording where a supported file came from and how it was edited. A screenshot or metadata stripping tool can leave that passport behind. None of these mechanisms is unbreakable. Their purpose is to preserve useful evidence when the content travels through systems that cooperate with the standard. A detected mark shows that a provider processed the content. It does not prove that the provider created the original. No mark does not prove that a human made it. Europe's Article 50 duties and Anthropic's implementation guidance therefore create a chain of custody process, not a truth detector. Businesses need visible fallback disclosure, clear ownership, and an audit trail for what happens when the technical signal disappears. This week's jargon is Agent Harness, prompted by DeepSeek's new open-source GitHub release. A harness is not a model, and it is not a skill. Think of the model as an employee's brain. A skill is one job the employee knows how to perform, such as searching invoices or preparing a sales summary. The harness is the employee's entire workplace and operating system. It connects the model to many skills, tools, memory, files, permissions, sessions, and the loop that decides what happens next. DeepSeek Harness calls this an everything is a plugin architecture, which means parts can be added or swapped without rebuilding the whole agent. Its own architecture includes a skill provider inside the wider harness. That is the clearest proof that the two terms are not interchangeable. For a business, the distinction matters because a good harness can reduce model lock-in. The organization may change the underlying model while keeping much of its tools, controls, and workflows. DeepSeek released the code under the MIT license, but it is explicitly a developer preview with breaking changes expected. Treat it as an important architectural signal, not production-ready software. The General Board opens with Claude Opus 5 Max leading at 63. 5 of the 8 displayed positions belong to Anthropic. Kimi at 6 is the only explicitly open-weight model in the displayed 8. Against our dated Week 32 snapshot, there is no verified change in the displayed top 8, so we do not manufacture movement. The coding benchmark follows with Claude Opus 5 Max at 1686 ELO. 6 model families share the displayed top 8, with open-weight Kimi at 2, GLM at 7, and DeepSeek at 8. The displayed order is also unchanged. Agentic tool use follows, where Claude Opus 5 High leads Arena's net improvement board at 11.99%. This benchmark measures improvement through external actions, not the percentage of questions answered correctly. Anthropic holds 5 of the displayed top 8, again with no verified top 8 movement. Hard reasoning follows next with GPT 5.6 Sol Max effort leading the selected live bench baseline at 91.7. This is hard reasoning rather than a general chat preference vote, and open-weight Kimi at number 2 is the leading challenger outside OpenAI. The image generation board follows with the material movement this week. GPT Image 2 Medium appears as a new variant at number 1. Grok Imagine Image 2.0 Low is a new entry at number 2. Muse Image, Revet 2.0 and QN Image 3.0 Pro also enter the displayed 8. 5 of the displayed top 8 are therefore new entries or new variants. After those new entrants, the order changes are Revet 2.1 moving from 2nd to 3rd, and Nano Banana 2 moving from 3rd to 6th. The video board uses Arena's image-to-video snapshot dated 13th August, and this is our benchmark deep dive. Users compare generated clips from the same starting image and choose which they prefer. The Arena score turns those pairwise choices into a relative ranking. It is not a percentage quality score, and overlapping confidence ranges matter. Minimax H3 reaches number 1 at 1489, 8 points ahead or behind its confidence estimate, followed by Sedence 2.0 at 1479 and Gemini Omni Flash at 1462. Minimax publishes H3's 33 billion parameter weights and supports native stereo audio and Arabic, but its reference-serving examples use 4 GPUs and its community license has geographic and commercial restrictions. Open weights, therefore, do not automatically mean open source, free business use, or easy local deployment. Flux 3 enters at number 5 with 1453, but its current production model remains a paid proprietary API. The OpenWeight Dev Edition is promised, not released. WAN 2.2 proves useful local video can reach a consumer gaming machine. Its 5 billion parameter Apache release can make 5 seconds of 720p video on one 24GB RTX 4090, although the official unoptimized example takes almost 9 minutes and its quality sits well below the current leaders. AGI 2 remains data center scale despite its Apache license. It stores 114 billion parameters, activates about 6 billion per token, and officially requires 8 Hopper GPUs. LTX 2.5 also releases downloadable professional video weights. but its standard components occupy roughly 66 gigabytes, and larger companies need a paid commercial license. The business conclusion is that commodity generation and commodity production are different. Creator can now generate a useful short clip on a high-end gaming PC, but rapid high-resolution production with native sound, continuity, and many iterations still favors hosted infrastructure. Ordinary laptops are not there yet. The side panel is showing the compute reality, because the license label alone does not tell us who can actually run the model. The voice ranking closes with QN Audio 3.0 TT-S Plus, narrowly ahead of Speechify Simba 3.2. Only 2 ELO points separate the leaders, and the voice board is unchanged against the dated Week 32 snapshot. Meta's philosophy is captured in Mark Zuckerberg's line from the 10th of August. The notion that AI is so dangerous that the only safe path is an extreme concentration of power seems inherently problematic. That is a serious challenge, but broad access does not guarantee open economics. Meta now offers open Glimmer weights beside proprietary Muse Spark Inference, an inference-first chip roadmap, and one of the world's largest data center investment programs. If everyone continuously uses personal superintelligence, every conversation, agent action, and device request becomes inference demand. Zuckerberg may be describing a more empowering future, but he is also describing the future Meta now needs commercially. The fair conclusion is not that openness is fraudulent. It is that openness can be the acquisition funnel. The weights win the ecosystem. Inference earns the revenue. Infrastructure keeps the margin. Rockbot arrives with always-on cloud agents that receive their own computers, sign into apps, work in parallel, and continue around the clock. The beta makes permissions, credentials, and audit trails a product requirement. The NVIDIA financing target follows. Wall Street firms are discussing a structure intended to channel up to $500 billion into AI infrastructure. That is a target, not money already raised. Reuters now reports that Goldman Sachs is assembling insurers, asset managers, and banks, while NVIDIA may backstop no more than 1/4 of the target. The structure shifts compute investment across the financial system, rather than placing the whole amount on NVIDIA's balance sheet. The Together Cluster deal follows as IBM and Together AI sign a $240 million multi-year agreement for an IBM cloud inference cluster using roughly 2,000 NVIDIA Blackwell chips. CoreWeave spending rises after the company lifts 2026 capital expenditure guidance to $35 to $39 billion, reports second quarter revenue of $2.58 billion, and a backlog above $104 billion. The backlog is huge. Financing cost and utilization remain the test. The Ryanair cloud agreement puts Google Cloud, Gemini, AlphaVolve, and WeatherNext into operations across 35,000 employees under a 5-year deal. The business signal is airline optimization at workforce scale, not a passenger chatbot demo. ChatGPT advertising expands to the United Kingdom, Mexico, Brazil, Japan, and South Korea. Ads are now part of the distribution economics in 5 additional markets, while labeling and separation from organic answers remain trust tests. Claude pricing settles as Anthropic makes Sonnet 5's introductory price permanent at $2 per million input tokens and $10 per million output tokens. The canceled price rise is a clear sign of model market pressure. Apple's mainland China strategy becomes more complex. Reuters sources say Apple trained its own China-specific language model with Alibaba's support. Yuan remains incorporated in the rollout, but the exact division between Apple's model and partner technology is not yet public. This is reported sourcing rather than confirmation from Apple or Alibaba. Unitree demand explodes as the robotics company's Shanghai offering is more than 8,000 times oversubscribed by retail investors. The roughly $900 million listing signal is powerful, but extreme demand is not proof of a sensible valuation. The Meta separation follows as the agent startup resumes independent operation after Meta's acquisition unwinds. Affected users will be allowed to back up data scheduled for deletion. Ownership changes can become data governance events overnight. The confirmed open model launch follows as NVIDIA releases Nematron 3.5 Lightning, a 30 billion parameter mixture of experts model with about 3 billion active parameters for high-volume agent execution. NVIDIA releases weights, training data, and recipes, but its performance numbers remain vendor claims until reproduced independently. The Grok update follows as xAI releases Grok 4.6 for long-running agents, coding and visual work through Cursor and Grok Build. XAI says it matches GPT 5.6 Sol on the Artificial Analysis Index. Task-level performance still matters more than a composite score. A production checkpoint follows as DeepSeek formally releases V4 Pro 0813 through its application, website, and API. It retains a 1 million token context window and stronger agent capabilities. Peak API pricing is now $1.32 per million input tokens and $3.96 per million output tokens, with lower off-peak pricing. The low-price acquisition phase is becoming a tiered production business. The worker data investigation follows as Bloomberg reports that thousands of workers in India are recording physical tasks through head-mounted cameras to produce data for robot training. Their movements, judgment, and dexterity become commercial training assets, often without a clear route to long-term compensation or value sharing. This does not prove that each participating worker will be replaced, but it makes the labor question tangible. The International Labor Organization separately estimates that 6.1% of jobs held by people aged 15 to 29 are highly exposed to AI-related change, while youth unemployment is already 26.2% in the Arab states. Exposure is not automatic job loss. The urgent question is who owns and benefits from the knowledge captured from workers. Foxconn profit rises 35% to about $1.86 billion in the second quarter as AI server demand supports results. The supply chain signal is real, but customer concentration and capital intensity still matter. Google Flash arrives as Gemini 3.7 Flash, a lower-cost model aimed at coding, tool use, and multi-step agent workflows. Google prices the introductory tier at 75 cents per million input tokens and $3.75 per million output tokens through year-end, and begins rolling it into Gemini Spark across more than 160 countries. The important signal is cheaper execution for agents, not merely another chatbot score. China's chip pricing signal closes the quick news. SMIC reports quarterly revenue above $3 billion for the first time, 93.7% utilization, and higher prices as AI demand tightens domestic manufacturing capacity. Strong demand is real, but constrained local supply can make Chinese AI infrastructure more expensive before it becomes more independent. Next week has 2 major research conferences and 1 useful UAE learning program. IJCAI, ECAI runs in Bremen from the 15th through the 21st, with its main technical program from the 18th and an industry day on the 19th. UAI runs in Amsterdam from the 17th through the 21st, focused on learning and reasoning under uncertainty. The UAE AI Camp also opens on the 17th and continues through the 29th, with workshops for students, employees, entrepreneurs, and small business owners. For our business audience, watch IJCAI for Agent Systems and Applied Research, UAI for Reliability Under Uncertainty, and the UAE Program for Practical Local Adoption. A conference appearance is not a product launch. Wait for the paper, demonstration, or deployment evidence. The winner is useful AI that arrives with receipts, controlled access, traceable sources, and a clear owner. The hardest night belongs to power without identity, provenance, or a human stop. The eclipse gives us the week's final lesson. When the bright center disappears, the surrounding system becomes visible. Tell us what we missed. Until next Saturday, AI or die. Show the source. Keep the stop human. We are back next Saturday.